Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Canelo should viciously knock Terence Crawford out. It shouldn't even be competitive. He should get in there and tranquilize him. But I'm going to point some things out to y'all because you know I'm not a biased channel. But I'm going to just tell you, I think the way it's supposed to go, Canelo should take Crawford out of it without an issue. Now, the thing is, a lot of people are giving Crawford a chance because of Crawford's natural talent, his natural athleticism, and the fact that he's been able to dominate fighters since he's turned pro. And even up to 154 pounds, he was able to go get the job done. And Crawford is a super strong individual. So for him bubbling up to 168 and to think, for most people, for some of the Crawford fans to try to accept that Canelo's just going to overpower him and dominate him, they're just like, nah, I don't see it. But what I will say is, just like Crawford has natural talent, Canelo has natural talent, okay? So let's understand that at this point in Canelo's professional career, listen, he doesn't have to push. He doesn't need to try to top himself. He doesn't have to take risks. But he still finds a way to push. He's still out here trying to top himself. And he's still willing to take risks, especially if the money's right. Now, for those people who are thinking Terence Crawford is not a risk, Terence Crawford is a risky fighter. Risky fight for any fighter. It doesn't matter. This is where people have to be fair. I don't see how anyone can say Crawford's not a risky fight for Canelo. And I don't see how anyone can say Canelo's not a risky fight for Crawford. And I surely don't see how anyone out here is saying that Canelo doesn't stand a chance against Terence Crawford. Let me just break this down for you cream puffs, right? Canelo does want to get paid handsomely. He does. His name, his resume, he can fight tomato cans for the rest of his career and just chill back and just bide his time until, he gets inducted into the Hall of Fame. But, as a result of the moves he's making, especially messing around with Jake Paul and signing that contract, there are fans who I think have lost a little bit of respect for him, and Canelo has become, I think, underappreciated. But what I will say is this. He has dominated the sport of boxing. And it's a mistake for people to sit here and think that Canelo now is a guy who's looking for the easy way out. And you guys are going to see, because he's still daring to be great. And I'm telling you, he is not going to take it easy on Skull when he gets in the ring with him. And he's going to try to knock Terence Crawford out. He's not going to have no pity for Terence Crawford. Because, see, Crawford is out here talking about, when I get in the ring with Canelo in September, I'm going to become 3-time undisputed. So Crawford is talking the kind of talk that's going to motivate Canelo to want to put a good beating on Terence Crawford. The same way Crawford doesn't like people to poke at him, man, and to kind of get under his skin and to suggest that they're going to do something to Terence Crawford, Canelo doesn't like that either. He and Crawford have, their temperament is kind of similar. You know what I'm saying? Both of those guys, once you get under their skin, they already are striving to try to make history. They already want to be great. But once you get under their skin, they're looking to put on a show. And that's why I think Canelo going in this ring with Terence Crawford, I think he's going to do his best to viciously knock Terence Crawford out and to make sure that, the knockout and the performance by Canelo is going to be compelling. Okay? Now, people keep forgetting that Canelo, because this bullshit with Jake Paul, he fought Jamel Charlo, he's fighting a Crawford, and they just figure that Canelo is just out here on an exhibition circuit. The circus is in town. He already has the red hair. Might as well put a big orange nose on his face and have him juggle balls and pedal a unicycle. Let's not forget that he faced, at the time, the IBF super middleweight champion Caleb Plant when he became an undisputed champion. Let's not forget that it was vision, it was ambition that Canelo had and his team had that ultimately got him into that fight and allowed him for the most part, to have his way with Caleb Plant. And for those of you who are thinking that that's not a big deal, how about this? I don't hear anyone say that Caleb Plant is a weak fighter. Everyone respects Caleb Plant. They talk about how great of a fighter he is. So how can you come now when Canelo beat the shit out of him, and Canelo came up from a smaller weight class too, right? How can you come and not give Canelo the credit as a great fighter when he beat someone who you say is a great fighter? I don't understand. And remember, no Mexican-born male fighter at the time where he fought Caleb Plant, let me make sure I'm right about this, had ever been an undisputed champion in the four-belt era. Now, I know Usyk was at cruiserweight, and now he's at heavyweight. I think Hopkins and Jermaine Taylor were at middleweight, and I don't even think that was a four-belt era. And then Crawford and Josh Taylor. Yeah, so that's it. Those are the only ones during the four-belt era. Clarissa Shields and Naoya Inoue, right? But the bottom line is, Canelo Alvarez, I don't know what the betting odds are, but I would think that Canelo Alvarez would be like a huge favorite, like a mammoth favorite against Terence Crawford. Like I can't see Crawford being, minus anything. I think Canelo Alvarez is going to be more like minus 5,000. You know what I'm saying? And Crawford's going to be like plus 3,000. I just don't see it. But bottom line is, becoming a two-time undisputed champion, because I thought he had been two-time undisputed. He had the opportunity, but he ducked Andre. But for him to become a two-time undisputed champion, sure, there's a bit of an asterisk on that if he beats Skull, because of the way he lost his IBF strap and Skull was able to fight for it, and then for the Canelo to basically come back and beat somebody who most people say can't crack an egg. But he is from that Cuban style of boxing, but hey, he may put on an Erislandy Lara performance and, run all around the ring, and Canelo just sit back and just be disappointed in his opponent, but nonetheless, he becomes a two-time undisputed, which makes it a very interesting fight, and for him going into the match with Terence Crawford in September. But understand, when Canelo fought Caleb Plant, everything he and his team talked about is his legacy. Undisputed champion, holding on to the championship. How much of an honor that it would have been at the time for him to be the first Latin American fighter to do it. And he did do it. And Eddie Reynoso was proud. And I think Canelo has that motivation again, the same way he had the first time, this second opportunity to become two-time undisputed. That was their goal then. That's their goal now. And they're just really, a fight away. And it's William Skull. So he's almost just come back to go, and is about to kind of rinse and repeat what he did when he faced Caleb Plant. So I just think all that's going to translate to the fight. And I think the boxing audience is going to be shocked when they see him getting there with Terence Crawford. I think Crawford has all the technical ability to win the fight. But I just think the Canelo fans are going to have a joy about them when they see the performance he puts on when he gets in that ring, because he's going to look like he wants to be there. And if Crawford isn't, his team have for some reason just underestimated Canelo, you're going to see them looking a bit saddened and melancholy, because Crawford may be looking like Jamel Charlo, like he does not want to be in there. When the Guadalajara, Jalisco native hits him with the Mexican bing bings. And let me tell you something. Canelo's rich beyond his wildest dreams. That man can buy anything for anyone every day of the month for the rest of his damn life. Crawford's got dough. He's rich, but he ain't Canelo rich. But Crawford knows if he clips Canelo, Crawford, all the money Canelo has, all the riches beyond his imagination, it's going to hit him tenfold. Because if he beats Canelo in that rematch, you better believe Crawford's going to be getting that Canelo money. And a little old, we're all adults here, so I'm going to say it the way I'm going to say it. A little old black boy from Omaha, Nebraska, whose mother was super hard on him, who got shot in the head, who was making all the mistakes that a young man can make that can land him in a horrible situation. He managed to lock in as a during the adolescent years, and managed to get himself to this point to come now and really be on top of the boxing world, a world that really hasn't totally accepted Crawford the way they should have. But that being said, when you're a kid and you have athletic ability and you have work ethic, you have awareness, which is what Eddie Reynoso saw in Canelo, which is what Terence Crawford had as well. I just think you start to develop, awareness. And when you look at a sport that's doing great things for you, affording you respect from your peers, from adults, taking you around the world, I just think for me, Canelo and Crawford both are going to come into the fight with equal motivation. But when I look at the work ethic, the athletic ability, the power, and what Canelo's been able to do against fighters who are absolutely amazing boxers like Crawford, but's been able to get him out of there, I got to say that Crawford has an uphill battle. Now, for those of you who are saying, Crawford's going to beat him easily, well, why didn't Caleb Plant beat him easily? And do you think Crawford will beat Caleb Plant? That's all I'm saying. Look, boxing fans like Terence Crawford and like Canelo, you could dream big. You could dream and say you want your fighter to win. You want them to be the best. But we got to understand, when Canelo was outboxed by Mayweather in 2013, that was 2013, man. He has evolved. He has, bubbled up to a weight to where he's the most comfortable. You just can't make me believe that a fighter who just continues to move up weight division after weight division after weight division can continue to do that in perpetuity and keep winning. And to think Crawford started at 135, 140, 147, 154, skipping 160, going to 168. In the short period of time, knowing he's talking about retirement, he wants the biggest money possible, maybe this is the fight where some of those questions about Crawford's commitment to the game and then his commitment to being retired and getting the biggest fight possible, the biggest money possible, and sailing off into the sunset, maybe those questions are going to be answered. Because I'm going to tell you, I do think that some of Crawford's pride has been stung for many years in boxing to where Crawford's a little bit like, man, fuck this. And you can see, Crawford gets angry. And he does something about that when he gets in the ring. But you know who else has that same quality? Canelo Alvarez. These guys are in the gym hour after hour, especially Canelo. Crawford too. Working on his footwork, how to recognize danger, how to avoid it. Covering your own tracks, not making mistakes, how to counter and not be countered. The high guard, the pressure, allowing his training partners to beat the shit out of him to make sure that, whatever mistakes he's making, that he's correcting it. Being in the best shape possible. So when he comes into the ring, he's such a great force. And he's pushing fighters to a point and to a place that where they don't want to go. Because Canelo's already done that shit in training camp. Let me tell you something. You listen to Canelo when he talks about Crawford. He said he praises Crawford, but he just says, it's different at this weight. But he says Crawford is an absolutely amazing fighter. He doesn't downplay him, but he is saying, look, no matter how much of a superstar Crawford is, how much of a talent he has, him coming up here is just, okay, I'm a superstar and I got talent too. And I'm much bigger. It's just not going to work out for him. And I think Canelo is 100% right about feeling that way. But at the same time, the best fighter doesn't win. It's the boxer who fights the best on that night. And Crawford has proven over 40 times that he's going to be the best. He is the boxer who finds a way to fight the best on the night when he gets in the ring. So it's hard to sit here and just accept that Crawford's not going to be able to do the same thing. Anyway, Canelo's not wasting time. Some would say he's wasting his talent by, he wasted some of his talent by fighting Jamel. Now he's fighting Skull. Look, he fought Berlanga and Munguia. I say Canelo kind of become an exhibitionist in a way because with Berlanga, look, it was a fight. There was big money, Puerto Rico, Mexico. But Berlanga didn't even want to do nothing. When he fought Munguia, that shit was a fight, boy. But then he hurt him, and then he carried Munguia. But with Crawford, I think we're getting a pretty bad signal that the fight could go one way. And I'm just saying that because Canelo's not wasting time. He's not wasting talent. Crawford has chosen not to fight. So to me, he's wasting time. Now, I understand he's going to be productive. He's going to focus on things. They're going to do their best to make sure he's prepared for Canelo. But I just think the signs are there that this could end up bad for Terence Crawford, man. But one thing for sure is Crawford is not Avni Yildirim. You know what I'm saying? But remember, Canelo didn't fight him because Canelo just wanted an easy fight. He had to keep his WBC belt and his hopes alive when he took that fight for the undisputed super middleweight crown. But it is what it is. Yildirim would have never beaten him, but Crawford has every chance in the world to clip Canelo. But I think the way Canelo's approaching his camps, the way he's approaching these fights, the fact that he's active, and the fact that he knows after he gets through Crawford, he has 2 more fights, which I think may be I'm not going to say they're going to be easy fights, but he has 2 more fights where he's going to make millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars. And I don't think Canelo wants to mess that up by coming in the ring and even being in a competitive fight with Crawford. I think he's going to come in there and look to just bull rush him, you know what I'm saying? But we'll see, man, because intensity is something Crawford brings to the ring, but Canelo definitely brings it. In training camp, word is they both bring it. And they're both chasing greatness, and they don't care about what anyone thinks. They're all about getting the job done. And we're going to see what happens, because in this fight, you got a lot of experience with Canelo, a lot of experience with Crawford, both of them being at the highest level of the sport, the highest level. I don't even know if I could say that the guy with the quicker hands, the guy with the better feet, the guy with the determination is going to be able to get in there and dominate the other fighter. But what I will say is, if they both show quick hands, if they both show good feet, they both show their determination, win or lose, they're going to shut up the naysayers who believe that Crawford and Canelo have never gotten their just due, and now they deserve it. But I just think Canelo, when he puts that heat on Crawford, especially if he comes in with all the intangibles that Crawford's bringing, I think he can cause Crawford to melt in that ring, man. And it ain't going to be nothing nice. And y'all can say what you want. Y'all can feel how you want about it. Y'all can get irritated. But I'm telling you, Crawford has a chance to win. I just think Canelo, when I really look at all this and the fact that how he did Caleb Plant, I just think Canelo, man, he should viciously knock Crawford out. Doesn't mean he's going to do it. But I just, you're talking about a fight where I think Canelo mentioned something about how he's finally got his name put along the side of the greats like Ali, Leonard, Duran, and of course, one of his favorite fighters, Chavez, Hagler, Mayweather. He feels that, you know what, I want to stay there. And it sounds like he feels if he loses to Crawford, that his name that's been put alongside those greats in the history of the sport, that it may be removed. But that being said, I think Crawford and Canelo both are an example to everybody in boxing. I just think I think talent's only half the battle. And Canelo Alvarez has God-given talent. He's special. He's found a way to nurture it. He's enhanced it. He developed it, and he evolved his style to make him an extremely frightening fighter in the world. And he has that Mike Tyson kind of swag about him, where before fighters get in the ring, they're already defeated because they're like, shit, he's gonna hit me. What's gonna happen when I hit me? And that's what happened to Edgar Berlanga. And with Terence Crawford, I mean, I'm not saying he's Berlanga. I'm not saying he's any of those fighters that Canelo's fought. But you can't make me believe that Terence Crawford ain't like, okay, what's this shit gonna feel like if this guy hits me? You can't tell me he's not sitting there, thinking about that. And I'm sure in camp, that's the whole thing, is to make sure he doesn't get hit by Canelo. I'm sure that's something they're looking at. You gotta make sure that this guy doesn't land no shit on you. It's just like with Bomac with Nelson. When Nelson just fought somebody and was like, who did Nelson fight? Oh, Pacheco. They had planned for all kind of things to make sure certain things didn't happen, and it started happening. So you can't tell me that they're not planning with Crawford for certain things that could happen to make sure they have a way to answer it. Anyway, it's Canelo, just the way he is and the way he's committed himself to the sport before Mayweather, and then especially kind of taking it up a few notches after the Mayweather fight. That's why Canelo is considered the best boxer in the world. And when the best boxer gets in the world in September against Crawford, I think you're going to see him do his best to viciously knock out Terence Crawford and hurt him. But at the same time, he coming in too reckless. Crawford could put them beans on him. Y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.